So when you went in this morning, they took you in right away?
Well, I stood in the car with John, my coordinator, for about like half an hour. We got there at exactly 6:50 or 6:55, something like that.
You mean 5:55?
Yeah, sorry, 5:55. My bad. And he picked me up at, what was it, 5:40, right? 5:40. So
you guys got there pretty fast.
Yeah, we did. So we got there at 5:50, I would say. And then we didn't go in for like 6:30. And then, this morning I was like so emotional. But he calmed me down so much. Like, he was just talking to me regular and stuff, and like telling me stories about like the past patients and stuff like that. So he really, really calmed my nerves. And then by the time I went in, like, to surgery room, like, I had a really clear head. And the one thing that he did say was like, remember, when you go to sleep, how you go to sleep is how you're gonna wake up. So if you go to sleep like crying or like really, really nervous, you're gonna wake up like that. But if you go to like, if you wake up with if you go to sleep with a clear head, then you're gonna wake up good. So yeah, I did wake up good. I did really, really good, actually.
Like, did you feel pain at all or anything once you woke up? It must have been like a big relief, right?
I had the lap band surgery. I was so used to that. And then it hurts so much in your stomach when that gas is building up like inside of you. And like from like that first day when they did my surgery with the lap band, I was in extreme pain, and it even showed up in the screen, that big bubble. I was like, so that's where the gas is. So I was expecting that type of pain, but even worse. So that's why I said when I came in, he was like, "Oh, are you in pain?" I'm like, or Belky asked me, actually, and she was like, I was like, no, it was way easier than the lap band. Now how I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, I don't know. So I'm hoping I stay like this as long as I keep taking my drugs.
Were you able to get a look at your boobies yet?
Oh my god, I love them. Like, I could only see my cleavage. Like, I'm still marked up because I can't take a bath until tomorrow. But from what I see, hell freaking yeah, I love the freaking boobs. Cleavage, hello.
But they had already bandaged you up. You weren't able to see it yet?
Yeah, I wasn't able to see my boobs.
Okay.
Because they put the faja on, like,
the girdle.
Right, the girdle, yeah, like 30 minutes right after surgery. So.
Were you conscious for that, or you don't even remember them putting it on?
No, I was conscious. From like the moment that I woke up, I think they told me before. Well, John told me. He was like, "Oh, you're gonna be in and out of sleep." Hell no! I stood up the whole time I was there.
Really?
And I was like, as soon as I woke up, I was like, "Oh my god, when am I gonna freaking leave?" So.
It felt like the time was going by slow.
Yeah, and then like I was expecting. They said that I was gonna finish between like maybe like 1 to 2 or whatever. So they finished up at 2:30. At least that's what John told you. I think the other guy told me 2:45. My nurse. And then when I looked at the clock, since I didn't have my glasses on, because it's usually I'm wearing contacts or glasses, so I looked at the clock and I swore that it said 12 o'clock. I was like, oh my god, are they gonna send me like back in for surgery? So I was so worried. I was like, oh my god, it's like too early to be here in the recovery room, and I know it takes a while, for you to wake up. And I'm like, oh my god. So when I asked her, I was like, nurse, what time is it? She was like, oh, it's 5 minutes to 4. I was like, what? I was like, damn, I really cannot see. So that was funny. Wow. So I was like, oh, it's 4 o'clock. And then I started thinking, I'm like, well, that's too late. I'm like, what time did I come out of surgery? She was like, oh, around 2:45. I was like, wow, so then it took longer than expected. So, that's when I started getting my information.
And you started exactly at 7 in the morning? They rolled you in?
No, I didn't start until, because what happened was that they freaking put these socks on you. So I had to put these socks on by myself, and I'm like the worst, like putting tight stuff on.
Oh my
so
goodness.
that took a while. And then like they told me that I needed to take like my hair piece off, and I was like, lady, I just paid like freaking $35 for this shit. I'm like, I'm not taking it all. So I stood there, right, until she came back. She was like running around like crazy, I guess, like trying to prep everything. She was like, you still haven't taken it all? I'm like, look, I want to speak to my doctor because I don't want to take off my hair. And she was like, you know, like, you have to take it off. It's not because we want to, but it's because, like, the pinches, like the pins, like, it burns your hair. Like, it doesn't burn your hair.
Stab your scalp.
It can scab your scalp during surgery, or, like, from, I guess, whatever they were doing. Like, it could burn it or something, and you're going to wake up with burns and stuff. I was like, alright, well, in that case, I'll take it off. She was like, you can always put it back in. But I had so many, like, freaking pinches in my head. I was like, oh my god, this is going to take, like, forever. So that took, you know, that took some time. And then when I got to, and I'm, like, speaking, like, freaking shaky because I'm, like, I'm fucking cold. Right? Oh, sorry. I'm, like, I'm cold. I'm, like,
Profanity,
cold.
Mel, profanity.
I know, right? I know, usually I don't freaking curse on YouTube. So, yeah, I'm, like, freaking cold. So, I'm, like, my voice might seem a little shaky. So, what was I? Where was I? What was I gonna say?
Talking about taking off your hairpiece.
When they brought me to the operating room, then that's when they started doing the art. They marked me all up.
Oh boy.
You know, so that took a little bit.
You had to get completely naked.
I did. I was like, oh goodness, and I hate getting naked because you know you're still self-conscious of your body, you know, because of all like the extra loose stuff. You know, I had saggy breasts.
Was it cold in there and stuff?
I'll tell you when it got cold. So he marked me all up or whatever, and we discussed everything that was going to be done from the procedure. And then what they do, they spray your body with this, like, I don't even know what's it called. I should have asked. But I thought it was going to be water. It wasn't freaking water. It was like this thing, and then she was like, oh, take this, put it over your mouth. And I looked at it, I was like, what's this for? And then that's when I realized, I was like, oh my goodness, this thing, it was like really, really little, like, I don't know, it was powerful. And I covered my mouth and I coughed a few times, and that was freaking cold. I was like, I cannot believe they do this. Like, seriously, they want the patient to lie down and freaking shake, and then, you know, when I got to I was already shaking from the freaking cold. When I got to the bed, that's when they put, like, I guess the blankets or whatever, so I felt a little better.
Okay. And then they told you to do the countdown?
No, they don't do countdowns here.
You just don't even remember. You remember lying there 1 minute?
Well, you know what they did to me first? They put a mask. And I was like, are you going to put me to sleep already?
Melanie.
I did. Because it was a green mask, and usually they'll tell you, like, when they're putting you to sleep. Well, that's what I'm used to. Or they'll do a countdown. So she just put the mask on. I'm like, oh my goodness, they're putting me to sleep already. So I was like, when she had the mask on and it was already like 3 minutes, I'm like, oh my god, I'm like gonna freaking stay awake. I'm like, they're not gonna knock me out, and they're probably gonna start operating on me, and they're not gonna freaking know that I'm awake or something like that. Something is gonna happen. So then I had the boss ask her, I'm like, is this thing supposed to be to freaking sleep? And then she was like, no, it's just, you know, so you can get some air, you know, in there and stuff, and everything will be okay through surgery. And she was like, you know, the nurse is gonna come soon, and she's gonna inject something through that bag, and you know, where you put your IV in. So I was like, oh, thank God, because I was starting to get scared. So then, yeah, as soon as the nurse, they put like two needles on it. I didn't ask, but the first one didn't do nothing, and then the second one, she was like, all right, you're gonna start to feel it now. So I was like, all right, this one must be the good one. This one is gonna knock me out. And she was like, yeah, so just take it easy or whatever and stuff like that. And for some reason, I always be like, this is not gonna work. I'm gonna stay awake. I'm gonna try my hardest to stay awake. I was bloop after like 5 seconds.
Did you feel your eyes getting heavy? Like,
yeah, I did.
Ooh.
I was like, yeah. But this one, you know, with the lap band, you feel it like going through your body. You feel like going through your veins and stuff. But this one just like knocked you out.
Wow.
So it was pretty cool. And then, yeah, that's it.
And the next thing you know, you woke up, right?
So the next thing I knew, I woke up.
Didn't even feel like 7.5.
No, usually the doctor